that's it. It's just about pausing it basically to get it to ensure that happens.
Essentially, yes.
I thought that move was useless. Do you know what level the characters are in this?
Not off the top of my head.
Low.
Yes. It can't be more than, like, I'd say low 20s at max. I will get into that after this video has played.
We got questions.
That's actually the one video that I cannot easily and quickly explain here, and really you should read the full run comments at SDA to get the step-by-step breakdown. But very basically, start off, 7-7 bar on that slot is actually supposed to kill your party, not the enemy party. So the confusion and unconfusion basically sets it so that it instead hits the enemy party. And the reason she goes for 7-7 bar instead of 7-7-7 is that there are certain battles in which 7-7-7, no matter what you do, it will never ever come up. The final boss sequence is one of those battles. Now, while you're doing your research, make sure you don't just research your game. Also make sure you research any sites like SDA that you plan to submit to. Because taking the SDA example, they have standards for both gaming quality, obviously. The run has to pass verification before they put it on the site. And they also have audio-video quality standards. So don't just take a camcorder and point it at the screen and record it and expect them to take it, because they won't. The good news is you can record your run to DVD and then you can send them the DVD or the files and let them take care of all the technical mumbo-jumbo that goes into getting the run onto SDA. That's actually what I do whenever I submit runs. So once you've started doing your research, the next step is finally step number 5, to play your game. And as I mentioned before, you're going to be playing it a lot. You're going to be playing it to the point where you want to throw your controller at the wall. And this brings me to another fairly important point, that in practice, emulators are wonderful and you should use them. Now at this point, my crack team of Ace Attorneys would like me to remind you to make sure you only obtain your emulating and ROM resources in a 100% legal fashion. Thank you. But emulators are great because they have save states, and while a lot of speedrunning sites do not accept emulated runs because it's impossible to prove that the emulated run wasn't also tool assisted or machine assisted, as the comic I showed earlier called it. Emulators are great for practice because they have save states. So even if the run you plan on doing ultimately is a single segment run, you can save state before a difficult level, or a difficult part, or a difficult boss. And you can practice just that one part instead of having to replay the game from the beginning every single time. And as someone who learned games like Battletoads the hard way, when there were no save states, let me tell you the save state way is a heck of a lot easier and less taxing on your sanity. Now, when I mentioned that you should practice your game, I mentioned that you should pretty much practice it to the point of absolute memorization. And this next video is a great example of what I'm talking about. Now, this is admittedly a pretty narcissistic clip on my end. This is something I actually did. But a little bit of the context behind it is that I mentioned charity marathons near the beginning of this presentation. Excuse me. And this past January, I actually participated in a charity marathon. And I ran the original Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles game on the NES. Have any of you ever actually played this game? Okay, good. So you know how difficult it is.
Never got to the end.
Right. Well, in the middle of this run,
I couldn't find the end.
well, in the middle of this particular run, the game, well, I think the visuals will kind of speak for themselves on this. And admittedly, it's not as clean or as well executed as some of the other clips. But that's because A, this was done in one shot live as part of a charity marathon, and B, as I said, the visuals will kind of speak for themselves. Very briefly, no, my life bar is not supposed to be a bunch of Qs, nor am I supposed to have 36 of the American economy.